Detectives may have made a significant dent in the violent carjackings, armed robberies and attacks that have terrified victims in Melbourne's southeast. They've seized a stash of weapons, including a military assault rifle, and charged teenagers as young as 14. Crime reporter Alexis Daish.
Pulled from suburban homes, just like the ones of their victims. These are the accused criminals who've been terrorising drivers, business owners and families. Weeks of work came to a head as detectives raided properties across the southeastern suburbs.
Causing fear, unnecessary fear that shouldn't be done.
Police arrested 14 suspects allegedly linked to a spree of violent crimes, including assaulting a mother and holding a fake gun to her head before stealing her Volkswagen and bashing a father at an ATM.
We executed warrants on 10 houses. They are all living at home with parents as adult offenders who were living in their own premises.
This is another one of their alleged crimes. A young woman was working in this Hallam milk bar when thugs stormed inside, armed, stealing a haul of cigarettes. Police executed raids in Cranbourne, Pakenham, Dandenong South, Officer, Narre Warren South, Clyde North, Cranbourne North and Doveton. They seized a stash of weapons including swords, knives, knuckle dusters, 5 imitation firearms and this. Investigators believe it's an AK47 military assault rifle which will need a full examination.
All these weapons were found in one particular house. The weapons are being used at this stage to enhance that fear. And it's just got to stop.
Detectives have recovered 2 stolen vehicles, one of which is bashed dad Eugene Regan's Land Rover Discovery sports car. On Thursday, police swooped on 4 alleged offenders. A 17-year-old boy was remanded in custody, as was a 14-year-old boy. A 19-year-old man was granted bail until his next court date, and another 17-year-old boy was released, pending further inquiries. Early this morning, detectives arrested another 10 suspects who spent the day in custody facing formal interviews. Investigators involved in the raids warn the investigation is still active and there'll be more arrests next week. Alexis Daish, 9 News.
More than a dozen teenagers have been arrested in raids across Melbourne's southeast. Dean Felton is at Dandenong Police Station tonight. And Dean, it's believed this group was involved in some incredibly violent crimes.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Blake. Police mounted a series of raids over the past 48 hours, arresting a total of 14 people. But what perhaps is most shocking is the age of some of those allegedly involved, some as young as 14. Now, the raids took place across 8 suburbs, extending from here where I am in Dandenong out to the east as far as Officer. Those arrested are accused of a series of crimes ranging from armed robbery to burglaries and carjacking, all allegedly committed in the southeastern suburbs, all within the last week of July or the first week of August. And as one senior officer admitted today, it's becoming increasingly difficult for police to even fathom why teens are becoming involved in these sorts of crimes.
That's the million-dollar question at the moment, right across Melbourne. What's driving this type of crime? It's certainly, I've been a police officer for quite some years, and there has been a change in the type of offending.
Now, in those raids, police seized various weaponry, including a military-style assault rifle, as well as various imitation firearms. They also recovered a couple of allegedly stolen vehicles, one of them a Land Rover Discovery, and police will say that was the one stolen during a particularly violent armed robbery at an automatic teller machine in Chesterville Road in Moorabbin just a few nights ago. Blake.